We're watching the SEC on ESPN. It's a familiar scene in Austin, but the setting is different. For the first time, Texas is playing in the Moody Center, where over 10,000 will see second-ranked Texas take on Elia Rubin and sixth-ranked Stanford. Elia, an All-American, as is the newcomer to Texas, Tori Stafford, set to go head-to-head here on a Sunday in Austin. The top 10 showdown, Stanford and Texas, set to go. And we're thrilled to be here with you alongside Emily Eman. I'm Eric Freed, and we've done it again. They've done it again. Another weekend, another amazing setting for women's volleyball.
The fact that consistently throughout the week we see top 10 matchups in sold-out basketball arenas just shows how far this sport has come. This match sold out in less than 24 hours, which is exactly what you get when two of the most decorated programs of all time in Texas and Stanford match up.
And some decorated players will be on the court here this afternoon. Let's start with Elia Rubin, a veteran for this Stanford team, leading this young group here to Austin today.
Two-time All-American Elia Rubin is one of the most competitive players out on the court. Everything she does looks effortless in the way she moves and how easily she can take over a match. In big matches throughout her career, Stanford relies on Rubin, and she rises to the occasion. She's the only Stanford starter with over a year of game experience under her belt, so look for them to rely on her a lot today in this kind of environment. She's a fearless player that's going to take big swings from everywhere on the court. For Texas, few players are as well-rounded in the country as outside Tori Stafford. She's a terminal attacker, steady passer, and puts up libero-type numbers in the backcourt. She led all-powered conference outsides in hitting efficiency last year with Pitt, and she picked up right where she left off this season. Even though Stafford just transferred in a few months ago, she's an incredible leader for such a young Texas squad that they're going to need.
You see Stafford's number, the career-high 24 kills in the win against Rice. Lots of options on the Texas attack. For more on their setter, here's Michaela Chester.
Ella Swindle went from winning a national championship her freshman season as the starter to battling for a starting role her sophomore year. It was a challenging year for her. There was times when her confidence and joy for the game was depleted. She went to dinner with head coach Jared Elliott after last season. He told her, "What do you need to do?" And she said, "I want to be at Texas. I love playing here. I will do anything." Coach said she responded like a champ. Failing was the best thing that could happen to her. Now as a starter, she's playing the best volleyball of her career.
Can you blame her for wanting to be at Texas? Look and listen to this sold-out crowd here at the Moody Center. First serve comes from Stanford. Taylor Yu puts it into play. They look for the back row attack. A little bit of adrenaline flowing through the freshman Kari Spears, who hits it long. First point goes to Stanford.
A lot of times in these big matchups in sold-out environments, you see a lot of errors early on because those juices are just flowing on both sides.
Taylor Yu, the setter here for this Stanford team. That one is going to sail along. We talked about the setter for Texas. What's the setup for Stanford here today, according to Kevin Hambley, their head coach?
Stanford has thrown up a new lineup every single match so far through their fourth this season. Today, we will see just their setter, Taylor Yu, in the lineup in a one-setter system rather than a two-setter that we've seen throughout their matches so far.
This is all part of what Kevin says is trying to look at the big picture, try to have that depth, try to put players in different positions. So it's a lot of changes for Stanford right now. Halter with the service error. Nipar Kirk will head back to serve for the Cardinal. 3-1, coming off a sweep of Oregon State in Long Beach, California last Saturday. That point goes to Texas. Both teams practiced here yesterday. This is the first time that they've had volleyball here, of course, in the Moody Center. So they got acclimated, but there weren't 10,000 screaming people all around. So you can see things are going to be a little tight here at the beginning. Played by Anna Pringle. Here is Rubin, looks for the roll. Swindle, good hustle to get to it. Stafford off the net. On the left side, Rubin missed the mark. Point, Texas.
Already a few too many errors on both sides. That happens when you have so much adrenaline pumping with 10,000 fans in attendance, but we'll see these players start to settle in, especially on the end line.
I see Kevin Hambley challenging here early to see if Texas had the touch. There you see the head coach for Stanford in his 9th season with Stanford, his 17th season overall.
Stanford is challenging that there was a block touch.
Brianna Spain are R2, Sergio Gonzalez are R1 today, so they will go to the video review. This is an SEC home match. The Hawkeye system is being used, so there'll be a very clear look, you would think, for these officials. We'll take our first look at the net. This is what we can see right now.
You're looking for a finger bent backward or change of direction in the ball. Based on this look that we see, doesn't look as though it touched the blocker's finger.
That's our first look. Here is what the officials are looking at through Hawkeye. Rubin on the swing. Does Spears make contact? Is the question.
That look, it doesn't seem like any finger is bending backwards to indicate a touch.
Crowd will not be silenced during a replay, that's for sure. We can count on that here in Austin. Now this could be a good look here.
That looks like our best look, and still by this, it doesn't look as though there's a touch call. Now you have to have conclusive evidence to overturn it.
Very close to Spears. Here's the call.
After review, the call is reversed. There was a block touch. Point to Stanford. Stanford retains their challenge.
Emily Eamon loses her challenge, but Kevin Hambley keeps his challenge.
I'm 0-1 today.
So the point to Stanford, successful challenge.
I love Hawkeye technology, though. You get to see the smallest frame rate, and those little micro touches really come up.
Here's Spencer Etzler, talented libero, freshman from Coldwater, Ohio. ACC freshman and defensive player of the week after week 1 for the Cardinal. This is a good serve. Halter to Stafford. The block is there, but out of play. Point Texas.
One area of Emma Halter, the libero for Texas's game that has really improved in the last season has been her out-of-system setting, meaning when the setter takes the first ball, the libero in the other colored jersey is stepping in, putting up a beautiful ball to the outside.
Here's Stafford, second in the SEC in kill per set in the early going this year at 4.5. Nia Bunton at the net with the block. Halter with the set. On the left side, one of the freshmen for Texas, Abby Vanderwall, was denied. And then the touch misses the mark, and another point for the Longhorns, up 1 here in set 1.
Smart decision for Jordan Harvey to try to go off the block and out of bounds, just missing right down the line.
Harvey had a team-high 9 kills in the win against Oregon State last time out for the Cardinal. On the overpass, Swindle could set things up, but that was off the mark. Battle at the net, Harvey there for Stanford. Halter again with the set. Vanderwall with a big rip. Impressive freshman, off to a great start in her Texas career.
It is so difficult to come in as a freshman, as an outside, because you are asked to do so much. You have to pass, you have to attack, block up there as well, and Abby Vanderwall has done a phenomenal job in her first year at Texas.
Vanderwall 10 kills in her debut against Creighton, 10 kills in match 2 against Wisconsin. And Texas building a little momentum here with Stafford at the service line in set 1.
Beautiful serve from Stafford, driving the passers back, hitting the seams, meaning between the passers really well.
Third ace of the season for the junior from Torrance, California. 4-0 run right now for Pittsburgh, and that comes to a close. Swindle was there. Stanford has liked what they've seen from their middle so far this season, Emily.
Really young middle core. You have Lizzie Andrew, number 11, just a sophomore, and Erica Sayer, a freshman middle blocker. Normally you see veterans in that position, but Stanford relying on some youth art there.
Swindle goes to the right side, sets it up for Spears, the freshman getting the kill.
What's been so fun about this NCAA volleyball season is a lot of those COVID fifth years are kind of done and out of the way. So this is, we're seeing a new wave of college volleyball. A lot of younger players, freshmen out on the court. A player like Kari Spears, number 23 in white, that we haven't typically seen over the last few because players having that extra year of eligibility.
Spears, the freshman from Frisco, Texas. Swindle goes to Spears again. She knows what to do with it. She had 11 kills, hit .385 against Rice, and she's doing it from the right side, which is a new look for her.
It's really difficult to go your entire life playing on the left side to go to the right. It's a different ball that you're getting. The adjustment that Spears has gone through to do it has been so impressive, and she looks just as good.
Jared Elliott says when the lights go on, she is special. Good fight by Stanford to force it back, and a point for the Cardinal.
Stanford's going to have to play really aggressive up at the net because Texas is one of the most physical teams. Everyone that comes through the front court for the Longhorns is 6'3" or taller. So Stanford, they've got to play a really physical game and try to match that.
Elia Rubin will go back to serve. 8 aces on the season, 6 coming in the 4-set win over Long Beach State. That one's going to sail well long. Another service error. That's 3 for the Cardinal. This is Kevin Hambley typically doesn't mind the service errors because he wants his team to really be aggressive from back there, but it just feels like they're a little amped up right now.
Yeah, the thing about missing serves as well is if you're bombing them back, it's really difficult as a passing unit to either get in rhythm with a ball that's out of bounds, just like that, but you're never getting easy balls right at you, so it's really difficult to find that rhythm consistently. It's either a hard serve or out of bounds.
Spears answers with a service error of her own, so the point goes to Stanford. Coco Kirsch will come on. Played a couple of sets against Oregon State, had an ace in that sweep. Fielded by Stafford. Stafford, a very good passer, and that is out of play. The swing by Aiden Ames. Talk about middles who've been impressive. Ames leading the charge for Texas.
Ames has been so good to start off the season for Texas. Just a sophomore in there, but man, she has worked so hard in the offseason, always coming in, getting extra reps, putting in a lot of time in the gym to really elevate her game from last year. Started
each match last year's SEC all-freshman team selection, but taking that step up, as you mentioned here, as her sophomore year starts out. Halter will get there. Texas will not give up on a point, and that is Stafford into the net point for Stanford.
That's a really difficult ball to make a swing on because it's coming from the complete other side of the court, but that's what you get out of Tori Stafford. She's going to take big swings on everything.
Taylor Yu back to serve. Swindle goes to Stafford for the kill.
Stafford's power shot is that cross court. If you're blocking on Stanford's side, it needs to be more inside the court to take away that power, especially if Stafford is brought into the court more toward the center.
Stafford, first team All-American last year with Pittsburgh, hit .358 from the left side. National semifinal trip each of the last 2 seasons. That one floats long. Point for the Longhorns.
Stanford just playing a little bit too high air right now, both from the service line where they've already missed 3 serves, but then up front as well, not really finding that offensive rhythm.
Cardinal hitting 111 here in set 1. Swindle, Bunton. Epar Kurt with the rip. Swindle tries it for Spears. Point Texas. All Longhorns at the moment. Kevin Hambley's going to take a timeout.
The one wrinkle in Texas's offense that's been so difficult. Kari Spears in the backcourt taking charge. Texas right now feeling pretty good with a 6-point lead.
So good so early.
And Jared Elliott is so good at bringing on new players to the program, whether that's freshmen or transfers, and getting them to gel right away. That's a superpower.
So out of the Stanford timeout, sent over and in by Ramsey Gary. The block kept alive by Stanford. That's going to be tight at the net, and Swindle tried to put it away, but the Cardinal fighting here, but Swindle drops it down. 6'3" setter could beat you in a lot of ways.
Ella Swindle is so good for Texas because she does everything well. She's a big presence up front, standing at 6'3", so she can get to balls that not a lot of setters can. Love that stare down, come on.
Dug out by Rubin. Kurt. Swindle goes to Stafford. Swindle to the middle to Bunton. That's in. Point Texas, their run continues. 5-0 run for the Longhorns.
Texas's transition game looks so good at this early on in the season, meaning within rallies. They're great at getting positive touches, leading to good swings. It's difficult to get your middles going because it's so fast-paced. They do it really well.
You bumped it up, and Stanford got a lot out of that one. Didn't look like it was going to end well for the Cardinal, but Ipar Kurt made sure it did, and that ends the Texas run.
Crafty shot from Ipar Kurt. She's slicing this one, taking that hand, turning her right thumb down to finish it. And although she touched the net, it was outside of the antenna, so that's legal.
They tried and tried and tried again, and finally, Stafford puts it away.
Texas just knows how to outlast opponents. That coverage back there with libero Emma Holter is so good at getting positive touches to get a good second and third contact. And Stafford, I mean, that slice shot is insane.
Jared Elliott said Texas needed to get better in the backcourt, and with their passing, and so far it has looked much improved. They stayed in points all night against Wisconsin. They've done it so far here against Stanford, although Cardinal terminate that time for the point.
Harvey just ripping balls on the right side. She loves that power line shot going straight down.
Good serve by Etzler, and Harvey back-to-back kills. Stanford trying to claw back into it here in set one.
That all started from a good serve. Spencer Etzler putting in a bullet right at Texas's passers.
Another good serve. Swindle had to go a long way, battle at the net, kept alive by the Longhorns. Spears made contact with the net, so a point for the Cardinal.
A really difficult ball for Spears to play, trying to bring it from the net, out of it. Just gets that slight touch on the bottom, resulting in the fault.
See, top left part of your screen, Jared Elliott talking to Brianna Spain. Well, he's looking for clarification, or he will possibly challenge here.
Based on the first look, could be thinking about whether that was the ball or the hands.
Discussion is over. Jarrett wasn't satisfied with the answer. Another one's going to sail along. That is 4 service errors for Stanford here in set one.
And you have to serve tough against a team like Texas. You can't let those passers get in rhythm, because when you have Tori Stafford, Emma Holter, and Ramsey Gary back there, that's a great passing unit that you have to put pressure on to get out of system.
Stafford back to serve for the Longhorns. Rubin to the right side, and another kill for Jordan Harvey. That's her 3rd here in set one. Kevin Hamley said she looked good last match against Oregon State. She's kept it going here.
And Harvey struggled to find consistency throughout the season so far. We saw her struggle offensively against Long Beach, but a great bounce back in that Oregon State match. Kevin Hamley needs right side production, and she's a massive part of that.
You can see Harvey goes back to serve. She was 6 rotation last season, but then when Stanford came out playing a 6-2 this year, that meant she wouldn't go all the way around. But now, changing things up today, Harvey there to serve. And she was effective on the serve last year. You with the set. Spears sends it back. Andrew has it blocked back.
Texas is doing a really great job putting a lot of pressure on Stanford's middles. That was the #1 focus that Jared Elliott said coming into this match that he needed his team to do, was shut down Stanford's middles, because they've been so effective so far this year.
Anja Kujundic comes on to serve for a 2nd time for Texas. Junior from Serbia who played at VCU the last 2 years. Goes with the float. Stanford on the slide. Swindle right side. Spears. Point Texas.
Stanford has not defended that right side attack well from Texas, whether it's Spears in the front court or back row. The blockers are just slightly late to it, making a big movement to try to get out, but there's too big of a seam for her to hit through.
Yundich, one of those backcourt additions for Texas this year. Spears and Ames teamed up at the net for the Longhorns. Swindle goes to the left side. Dug out by Etzler. Etzler sends it over. Dropped in perfectly by Aiden Ames for the Texas point. They're the first of 20 here in set one, and Stanford will use their second timeout. Longhorns hitting .333 here in set one. Stanford at 120 here in set number one. NWSL back on ESPN tonight, 5 Eastern time. Gotham FC hosts Angel City. Then at 8:30, the San Diego Wave will host the Houston Dash. Both matches are on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and on the all-new ESPN app. We've become accustomed to Gregory Gym being packed with students and Texas fans. We should not be shocked that this would sell out, like you said at the top of the telecast, in a snap and put 10,000 plus into the Moody for the first time here for Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas, volleyball included. It's one of the most storied programs of all time with 4 national titles under their belt. These fans love this program, especially with the recent success they've had. They won the 22 and 23 national championships. It's a storied program, and we are going up against the most historic program of all time in Stanford with 9 national titles. Come on.
Someone who's new to Texas volleyball and this rivalry with Stanford, they've had some big matches through the years, is Kari Spears, the freshman.
Kari Spears is one of the most physical players on Texas's lineup. She stands at 6'3", and she's got a heavy arm just to barrel through blocks. What makes her impressive is coming in as a freshman, she's already playing 6 rotations, which is a lot of times on the right side. You don't see players playing that because they don't have the ability to defend in the backcourt, but she's just as good back there.
McKellar with more on Kari.
Well, Kari was raised by 2 elite athletes. Her dad, Marcus Spears, a former NFL player and analyst at ESPN. Her mom played in the WNBA and college basketball at LSU. So both know what it takes to be a premier athlete, so involved in her career. Kari said her mom drove her to all of the practices. Her dad's biggest advice is move your feet, but he is so into volleyball. Kari said he'll give her a full scout report before every game.
McKellar, perfect timing, because she moved her feet to get that point for Texas. I don't know if she'd give Dad credit for that move or Mom. Talking to her yesterday, she's perfectly fine sharing the wealth with Mom and Dad. And Mom played basketball at a high level. We said, well, what about hoop? And Mom wasn't thrilled about Kari going into basketball, pushed her a little bit or encouraged her to play volleyball, and said that was a pretty good decision.
I mean, great decision. I think we're all happy that we get to see her out on the court. A player like that with so much potential, especially this early on in her career, is so impressive.
That one just long. Emily just mentioned Stanford has to serve aggressively and tough against Texas, but it's cost them here in the first set with 5 service errors. So Rella Binney will come on to serve for the Longhorns. Sophomore from Hawaii, played in 42 sets a season ago, had 6 aces. Serves it at Kurt. Andrew off the block, point Stanford.
This is what Stanford wants to do, get the middle attack going on this ball. It's a slide behind the setter, so it's the middle who normally is in the center of the court, running on the right side. It's a faster set, difficult to stop. Stanford wants to do that a lot more.
Coco Kirsch back on to serve for the Cardinal. Binney setting right now. Vanderwall with the swing. Kurt missed the mark, no touch. Point for Texas, closing in on an impressive set 1 win here in Austin. Jared Elliott's team cruising right now. Stanford will get Logan Parks, their talented freshman, onto the floor right now. Ramsey Gary, the lefty, ready to serve. Yu, the center, looked for the kill. Texas brings Devin Kahawai onto the court. And Texas fans will come to their feet here at Moody, looking for a set 1 win. Kurtz, great diving play by Binney to keep it alive for Texas. Off the block, point, Stanford. That was an example, though, of what Texas has done well here in the first couple of weeks of the season, staying in points. But Stanford gets the point.
Even when it's not Texas's starting lineup in the match, they can pull people off the bench that play just as well.
Taylor Yu back to serve. Set point number 2 for Texas. Cardinal out of sync, chance here for Stafford to end it. Setting the middle, and that will do it for set 1. Big swing by Aiden Ames to give Texas a 25-15 win.
Texas looking good all around right now, hitting 367, doing everything well, putting on a show for these 10,000 fans here in the Moody Center for the first time. Louisville's a fun match.
I just love how everybody is looking up at her to like say high five. So you see Kara in Louisville undefeated so far, as is Texas. You see the numbers 25-15. Kari Spears hit 571, the freshman with 5 kills. Texas as a team hit 367. Michaela.
Just listened in to Stanford's huddle, and guys, it was mostly Elia Rubin. I mean, no surprises there. She is the leader of this team. But she was just saying, guys, we are better than this. We have to attack them. They are so uncomfortable. They're so comfortable on the other side of the net. We need 3 people going for the ball. We need to close our block. This is not us, and we are not going to let this game get away from us.
The biggest adjustment that Stanford needs to make is getting that block down pat. That's coming from the middle blockers, Lizzie Andrew and Erica Sayer. There's too many holes that Texas is exploiting and putting balls right into the ground. The defense for Stanford really has to pick up if they want any shot at slowing down Texas' offense.
No blocks in set 1 for Stanford, 2 for Texas, and Stanford was outdigged by 5 in that first set as well.
Really difficult in the backcourt to get good touches if your block isn't in a good spot, because the backcourt works with the front court to read around them. That's something that Stanford's front court needs to do a better job of, going straight up rather than reaching around.
Stanford had a football game here yesterday afternoon against San Jose State, a win for the Longhorns. I'm guessing after that last scene, a few of the fans may not have gone to bed after the game last night. Come over to the student section, which is, you can see how they set it up here at Moody. The students get those awesome seats right behind the benches, and they have been active and involved from before first serve.
And they're not even just behind the benches. This wraps around this entire lower bowl pretty much.
10,000 plus expected here at the Moody Center. Only match on the schedule here at Moody this year. Jared Elliott says Wisconsin is on the schedule for next year. Of course, they'd like to add more going forward. This is a pretty good start, pretty impressive start for Texas playing here at the 3-year-old Moody Center. Good start for Stanford here in set 1 as Kurt gets the kill.
One offensive adjustment that Stanford can also make that E. Parker did a nice job of is swinging high on some of these balls. Because Texas is so physical and tall up front, it forces the offense to be a little bit more crafty in how they score.
That one sails long. 5 service errors in the first set for Stanford. That is their first of set 2. Here's Emma Halter, 3-year fixture on the court for the Longhorns, her 2nd year as a libero. Little miscommunication for Stanford and a point for Texas.
And those are the errors that Stanford just can't afford, especially from 2 veteran players that have played next to each other for the last few years. Those are plays that they need to make, especially this early on in a set.
Halter's so good against Creighton and Wisconsin. Couple of sweeps for this Texas team. Good job by the freshman middle for Stanford. Erica Sayer getting the point.
These are plays that Stanford needs a lot more of. When they have a good pass, meaning it's up at the net, that allows you to run your middle attack, and it's so good behind the setter with Sayer there off of 1 foot.
Kevin Hambley says Erica has a chill vibe. They could use a little of that chill vibe to bring the temperature down here in this building in Stanford's favor. You picked it off the net. Swindle looks for Button on the slide.
There's just no stopping how fast that slide attack is behind the setter. Swindle gets it going with so much tempo that from the time it's out of her hands to the time the attacker is making contact with it, it is lightning fast. It doesn't give the blockers time to line up.
Michaela talked about Swindle at the top of the telecast. I want to get your thoughts about how challenging it is for someone who led a team to a national championship. That caught the antenna, so it'll be a point for Stanford. Led a team to a national championship as a freshman. Was fighting to get on the court as a sophomore, and now she's come back to lead this team as a junior.
It takes so much mental strength to stay in a program like this because you won your program a championship and then you essentially got beat out last season by a really good player in Avery Carlson. But now coming back in, you are expected to take the reins and be confident doing it. So whether or not you have to just tell yourself that you're confident doing it, I think Ella Swindle has done a phenomenal job, at least looking confident out there, and it's kind of shown in the way that she's setting with so much ease.
We know in this era, it's easy to leave if you're unhappy.
Yeah.
And I thought Michaela made a great point about someone who wanted to be at Texas, and when times are tough, I'm going to be tougher and get out there and be a key part of this Texas team in 2025.
It also just shows how much confidence she has in Jarrett Elliott, her head coach, and this program, because again, it would have been easy for her to leave and go lead someone else to a potential national title, but she stuck it out because she loves this program.
Challenge card's been pulled out by the Texas head coach. That point went to Stanford, but it is being challenged. And we'll get the call from Brianna Spain.
Texas is challenging that there was no block touch.
So we'll have our second replay review. We mentioned it before, SEC using Hawkeye technology, which is a video review system that has cameras all around the court, up on the net, giving multiple angles on the lines or at the net. And in many cases, a higher frame rate, so you can just see that blur goes away, and that helps the officials make a call. We're working with an R1 and R2. We don't have the R3, a replay official here that will come along in conference play.
I mean, there's just nothing better than Hawkeye technology. Look how clear that look is. You can really get a sense of whether or not there was a block touch. It's a lot easier to tell. Based on this look,
After review, the call is reversed. There was no block touch. Point to Texas. Texas retains their challenge.
Successful challenge by Jarrett Elliott. No touch by Texas on that play, so give the point to the Longhorns. Basically, you're allowed 2 unsuccessful challenges through the first 4 sets. You'll be given an additional challenge if we go 5, not to exceed 2 challenges in a match. Not a ton on that one, and it missed the mark, so Texas gets the point.
early on in the season, you see a lot of misconnects, meaning the set just isn't quite there between the setter and the hitter because they haven't had too much time in preseason to work on that, especially with the new setter coming in for Stanford.
Look at the hitting numbers for Texas. 394 for the match, 667 for this set. An error there. Point Stanford.
And not a lot of defense being played over on the Cardinal side. They need to do a much better job digging in, especially with that block. If you're not getting stuffs, at least get good touches to slow it down for your backcourt.
Another service error. Jordan Harvey off the mark. That's 7 now for the Cardinal.
I don't mind the service errors because Texas is such a good passing team. And especially those kind of errors that are just right down the sideline, you're completely okay with those with how well Jordan Harvey really blasts the ball.
And again, we talked about it earlier. Kevin Hambley, he made a point of it last year, continuing it this year, just being aggressive with the serve. You can live with those errors. Things go quickly for Stanford. Rubin with the kill and the point for the Cardinal.
Now, Elliot Rubin up to that point had just 2 kills in the entire match. This is a player that's a 2-time All-American on the National Player of the Year watch list. Stanford needs her to be a lot more productive if they want a chance in this. And these big matches, you need your big stars to come alive.
Trying to bring up her numbers for Kevin Hambley. 3.5 kills a set last year, hit 290, 2 years ago rather. 3.9 kills a set last year, but only had 2.6 so far in the early going this year. Kari Spears having a great match so far. That's kill number 7 for Spears on 9 swings, just 1 attack error.
Spears has been fantastic on the right side. Watch the power that comes off of her arm. She's putting everything into these swings.
Now let's see what she can do with the serve. Pretty good. Sent back by Vanderwall and Ames, point Texas.
That's what we call a trap set. The ball way too tight to the net. It doesn't allow the attacker to do anything with that. You got to push it right off the block, but Andrew's got nowhere to go with a stifling Texas block.
Texas won set 1, 25-15. They are in front here in set 2 early. Sent back on the attempt by Kurt. Rubin from the back row. Kept up, Halter gets there, Vanderwall over. Back row attack, Rubin, point Stanford.
Stanford finding ways to outlast Texas after a really good defensive play on their side. Stanford's able to transition it, but check out this up in the backcourt. Spears gets the pancake to keep it alive before it hits the floor. But that easy free ball, Stanford beats that up.
4 kills now for Rubin, hitting .273. Coco Kirsch back on the serve for the Cardinal. Swindle looked for the setter dump. Stanford was ready for it. Goes to Kurt off hands, point Stanford.
Much better swings from Stanford's left side, both from E. Parker and Elia Rubin, doing a nice job, not hitting it too hard, just going right over the block to the other side in the corner, splitting the left and middle back defenders.
Yeah, no touch, dropped it in, beautiful swing. Stanford coming back here in set number 2. Good serve, Halter. She'll cover a lot of ground to keep it in play. Down the line, point Stanford. The Cardinal clicking right now. Sayer gets the kill.
Sayer is an elite slide attacker, meaning when she's going on 1 foot behind the setter, that connection is something that takes a long time to develop typically, but she's looked so good so far this season.
Texas crowd getting a little loud now because of the 3-0 run for Stanford. Chance here for the Cardinal to tie things up. Good adjustment by Kurt. Point Stanford. Big exhale by Kevin Hambley, the Stanford head coach. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective, and it forces a Texas timeout. All Texas in the first set. Stanford fighting hard here in set 2. In 2023 in Maples, that was the year where Texas was facing a match point against Tennessee, fought it off, knocked off the Lady Vols, beat Stanford in Maples, and went on to the national championship. Stafford diving play, couldn't get there, and this run continues for the Cardinal. A 5-0 run right now. Emily, what's changed?
The biggest thing is Stanford's left sides have been able to score. They have scored 8 of the last 10 Stanford points that they've had during this set. That was something we did not see during set 1.
Epar Kurt had 2 kills in set 1. She's got 4 already in set 2. That will end the run. Ames with the swing. Point Texas.
When Texas can get those middles going, it is so difficult to stop. It's so fast coming out of Swindle's hands to get there, especially with how physical a player like Aiden Ames is. It's really difficult to get your body behind it as a defender.
Here's Ramsey Gary, the Indiana transfer, first season with Texas. Indiana's libero the last 2 years, second team Big Ten selection each of the last 2 years. The block, Stafford leading the way at the net for the Longhorns.
What a play from Tori Stafford. She mirrors the middle blocker. That means she's making the same movements and steps that the middle is making to get her body in front of it and reach her hands in.
Gary's really good at mixing speeds with her serve. So is that Rubin? Looks for the back row attack. Beautifully done. Jordan Harvey with the kill.
And Stanford's got to get that back row attack going. They can't just become one-dimensional up front when they have either Elia Rubin back there, as they do now, or when Jordan Harvey goes back. They got to utilize that back row attack.
Taylor Yu back to serve for the Cardinal. Halter to Swindle. Sets it up to the middle. Ames with the kill. That's her 5th so far on 5 swings.
Pretty good efficiency, batting 1,000 there.
Let me do the math. Yep, 1,000, perfect. Aiden does everything with a big smile, but when you have 5 kills on 5 swings and no errors, that smile gets a little wider. Looking for the back row again, out of sync as Rubin rolls it over. Stafford, the block. Off the net, Spears has it sent back. And a point for Texas.
That's tough for Stanford because they were in that rally. It felt like they really took control during it, keeping pressure on Texas, but just that small mishap up at the net from the middle, being a little bit too aggressive, gives the point back to Texas.
Gives the serve back to Halter. Yu sets it up for Kurtz.
Stanford's offense has gotten a lot more dynamic this set. We're seeing crossing patterns, meaning attackers hitting out of the zone that they are normally in, and it's putting a lot more pressure on Texas's defense.
Ipar Kurt, redshirt sophomore from Istanbul, 2nd team all-conference in the ACC last year. Good serve. Halter struggle with it. That's going to head out of play, and a point for Stanford. Everything right now going well for the Cardinal, even at 13.
And this is why Stanford doesn't care about those service errors, because they've had 7, but they're also not allowing Texas to get in a rhythm passing-wise.
That will go into the book as the first ace for Stanford today. Kurt with another good one. Back-to-back for Ipar Kurt, and Stanford is back in front.
That ball's coming so fast. Kari Spears tried to play a little dodgeball with her feet, but couldn't get out of the way in time. Just targets her.
Ipar came into this match with 1 ace on the season. On a run right now. They try Stafford again. Hetzler. Rubin has to backpedal, but rolled it in, but not down. Kept up again by Texas. Yu goes to Rubin, steps into this one. Halter couldn't get it. Point Stanford.
Stanford's offense is so much faster this set, meaning the tempo is not as high, so it's out to the pin quicker. That's making seams in the block for those left sides to hit through.
Where does the credit go for that? Is it the way Yu was running the offense? Is it something they're doing differently as a team?
Well, Stanford's ball handling a little bit better. That allows the faster tempo offense to run, because you can't run a fast tempo offense unless the ball's up at the net.
That will end the 4-0 Stanford run that had put them on top by 2. Service error number 8. Stanford hitting .348 here in set 2. Texas at .462. Tight at the net. Texas up with it. Kari Spears drops the hammer again. The freshman with 9 kills, and we're still in the middle of set 2.
1, she's a freshman. 2, she's doing this against a top 10 team. You would never know that she's nervous for these kind of matches, because she doesn't look like it at all by the way she's swinging.
Had 11 kills, hit .476 in that win against Wisconsin. Offhand, Spears couldn't control it. The point goes to the Cardinal.
Right now, it's all Texas power versus a lot of finesse on Stanford's side. The Cardinal have done a much better job of adjusting to the physicality that Texas is bringing at them.
Etzler floats it over. Swindle comes to the left side. Etzler can't control that. Swing by Stafford. Point, Texas.
Stafford isn't having the most efficient night that we've seen from her. Just 4 kills right now, batting about 100. So they're going to need a lot more production with her, especially now that she's in the backcourt. Look for Swindle to get her going on a back row attack.
Good serve. Rubin Well, you mentioned it's been the power of Texas and the finesse of Stanford. The finesse worked there for Rubin, a point for Stanford.
Yeah, over the last 5 points or so, we've seen a few balls fall in the middle of the court for Texas. That's Emma Holter's job as a libero to step in and play it, or the off blocker. They have to communicate about who's taking those.
Swindle comes to the freshman Vanderwall, sent back by the Cardinal. Vanderwall will try again. Once again, the Cardinal there at the net. Swindle out of sync with Bunton. Rolled over by Rubin. We play on. The setter, Taylor Yu, missed the mark. Point Texas.
Yeah, I like that decision from Taylor Yu to go up and take a swing on it, especially as the setter. You want that pass and you want to stay aggressive.
Kuyundich will come back on the serve for Texas. First of all, they'll take care of the floor here at Moody, the home of the men's and women's basketball programs here at UT. Had plenty of big-time concerts here as well. Big names have taken center stage. Harry Styles, Bruce Springsteen, Emily Eamon. Add her to the list.
Do not belong in that list.
Kept up, great job by you. Keep Stanford in the point. There was a touch. Kevin Hambley pumped up. You see how fired up he is. Great job by Stanford to keep the point going and then get the swing and the kill.
Those plays, the defensive ones that Stanford make, they didn't make any of those during the first set. We didn't see a lot of defensive intensity. That's the biggest difference. They found ways to transition some of these balls and get really good ups.
It is a bit of a warm day. Not terrible here in Texas, but with a crowd of over 10,000 here, you can feel it's a little warm in the building. So got a couple of delays here to towel up the sweat in what's been a competitive second set after Texas dominated set one, winning by 10. And an ace. That aggressive serve paying dividends now for the Cardinal here in set two.
Not only is Stanford putting a lot of pace behind the serves, but they're hitting the seams between the passers really well.
Once again, it's Kari Spears. Double figures now with 10 kills.
Texas is learning a lot about a young player in Kari Spears, that in these kind of moments, she's taking the big swings and not letting up.
Relabini will come on to serve for Texas.
And what this double substitution does is it provides another outlet in the front court. So they keep a right side attacker rather than having Ella Swindle up there and only two attackers up front.
Let's see where Binney goes with this serve. With Texas down one here in the second. Kurt Yu looked for it. Battle at the net, controlled by Texas on the reset. And the point. Kahawai with the swing. Tied at 19.
All Texas attackers playing aggressive up front. Love to see Devin Kahawai stepping in, taking a big swing right away.
Evans had some big moments, had 19 kills against Ole Miss in conference play last season. Lizzie Andrew. Kurt with the swing and a whistle and a violation called, net violation on Texas. That means Stanford's the first team to reach 20 points here in the second set.
And we've got a game to 5 right now. So important for Stanford to close this after they're already down 0-1 in this match. They got to find a way to keep the pressure on, and that's going to start from the service line to try to knock Texas out of system.
Players on both sides, officials, coaches, keeping an eye out for wet spots on the hardwood here at the Moody Center. Coco Kirsch ready to serve. Service error number 9 for Stanford.
And those are the errors that you can't have. The ones that go out of bounds you're more okay with, because at least you're giving the serve receiver an opportunity to play it, but the ones in the net this late in the set against a top 5 team you just cannot afford.
Ramsey Gary will head back to serve. Jared Elliott says, we have two liberos. Halter is the libero wearing the jersey, but Gary Ward for Indiana. The freshman with the big swing. Erica Sayer, point Stanford.
Freshman taking a big swing at a massive time. She loves this line shot, meaning straight ahead. Texas has to get a body right in front of that to take away her power shot.
Taylor Yu with the serve. Stafford. Rolled over. Halter. Sent back the swing. Dug out by Rubin. Quick set to the middle. Was there a touch? No. Off the tape. Point Texas.
Defense digging in at this point in the set. This is when you see some really long rallies because both sides, you can tell how much they're fighting for every single point.
Here's the senior from Indianapolis, Emma Halter. A lot of sink on that serve. Drops in for the ace. Texas by 1. Timeout called by Stanford. Crowd getting a little louder here at Moody. Their Longhorns up 1 in set 2. Set 1, 25-15. Longhorns hit 367 in set 1. They're hitting 435 here in set 2. Did Stanford get a stop? This has been a good play for them, and it works out again for Sayer for the kill.
Smart decision for Texas to serve to right back. Typically that takes out the slide attack, but Taylor Yu still runs it because Texas was trying to take it out. They weren't expecting it.
Kurt, service error, costly. Number 10.
Number 10, but the second within the last 3 points for Stanford. Those are errors that they cannot afford right into the net.
Ella Swindle will head back to serve now for the Longhorns. 2 points away from going up 2-0. Yu hustles over for it. Rubin kept up. Swindle. Defense there for Stanford, and they come through with the kill. Jordan Harvey with the swing. Point Cardinal.
Really confident set coming from the outside for Stanford after an awesome up in the backcourt from Etzler. Beautiful ball from Rubin. Gets Harvey in a good position to put it away.
Harvey now with 6 kills on 16 swings. Here's the freshman Spencer Etzler. Swindle goes back to Bunton. Swindle will try the left side. Stafford got a lot on it. Set point, Texas. Stafford with 5 kills, trying to put it away with the serve here in set 2. Rubin. Swindle and Halter collide, but Texas still gets it over. Yu to the middle. Halter. Vanderwall. It's in! Maybe a challenge here. Hang on 1 second. Kevin Hambley is talking with our R2. And there will not be a challenge. That will do it for set number 2.
That's what Texas is forcing at them, and sometimes the best defense is just putting pressure on the Longhorns.
Kari Spears, the freshman, 5 kills in set 1, 5 kills in set 2, hitting .643. Elia Rubin, 8 kills. Ipar Kurt, 8 kills. To pace Stanford in those categories, as Taylor Yu is set to serve here in set number 3. Stanford, as you just heard Kevin Hambley say, much better in set number 2. Can they find another gear in set 3, or will Texas make this a clean sweep at the Moody Center? They get the first point of the third set.
Texas has just been in system at too high of a clip. They're able to run a really dynamic offense because of that.
Kurt off hands, point Stanford.
This is where Ipar Kurt is so good. She's a player that doesn't get flashy kills, but she's always good at going off the block, putting a little craftiness in there with a tip or a roll shot. A player that Kevin Hambley knows that he can rely on always in matches like this.
Really built up last season, good in conference play, averaged almost 3.5 kills a set. She was good in the NCAA tournament, including 17 kills in the win against Florida. Stafford tied at the net, halter, kept it alive and kept it in play, and then now it's going to be a point for the Cardinal, up 2-1.
Stanford's going to have to continue to play really physical ball up front against a really tall, physical Texas team. Stanford's going to need answers that might come from craftiness, but just taking big swings as well.
Stafford perfectly run by the Longhorns for the point.
Tori Stafford has so much range on her attacks. We've seen her slice it inside. That time the set was all the way out to the antenna, so she was able to rip it right down the line.
Ella Swindle back to serve. You set up Harvey. Stafford. Rubin off hands and a point for the Cardinal.
Elia Rubin was a player that really elevated her game during that second set. Stanford got a lot more production from her, along with Ipar Kurt on the left side. They're going to have to continue that with some faster tempo sets out there.
Yeah, good point, Emily. 2 kills in the first set, 6 in the second set for Rubin. Remember, Stanford only had 15 points in set 1, losing 25-15. Bounced back to make it tight in set 2. Checking on Taylor Yu right now. So as they look her over, I have a chance to remind you that the WNBA on ESPN on Tuesday, Lynx taking on the Fever. Minnesota's clinched the #1 seed, thanks in large part to Nafisa Collier. See that Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, the all-new ESPN app. The Fever trying to clinch a playoff spot today. If they're not unable to, that may be critical for Indiana coming up on Tuesday night. Madison Booker in the house. Talk about All-American performers for Texas. Outstanding player for the Texas women's basketball team that went to the Final Four last season. Swindle and the whistle, and that's going to be a point for Stanford. Net violation on Texas.
And Nybun getting a little bit too aggressive on that swing, hitting it on her follow-through.
Stanford gets the point. Pretty good service run right now for the freshman on the back line, Spencer Etzler for Stanford. Remember all the players that they had to replace for the Stanford team. And the libero has been a very nice addition to this team, Michaela.
Might notice she's wearing the number 9, and it's been worn by some pretty prolific Stanford liberos. Elena Ogilvie last wore the number. Morgan Hentz, a 3-time national champion. Head coach Kevin Hambley said she immediately asked for 9, and not just because it's her favorite number, which it is, but she wanted to prove she can live up to the legacy of that number.
Kevin was telling the story. The past liberos for Stanford took note that she was wearing number 9 because it means something to the Cardinal, and she has meant a lot to them. I know Kevin joked around before this season opener that ABCA first serve, replacing 3 seniors with 3 freshmen. He said, perfect, it's what every coach wants, right? Tongue firmly in cheek. But she has been an impact player. Oh, great shot by Swindle to get it over for Texas. Logan Parks is out there right now, one of those freshmen for Stanford. Haven't seen much of her here today. Cardinal on top by 4 here in the third set. And we saw them working on Taylor Yu's right ankle, and she's over on the bench right now. So Parks setter right now for the Stanford team. Swindle to Vanderwall. Touch. Point. Texas.
Good tempo out to the pin for Abby Vanderwall. Beautiful set from Ella Swindle, coming off really fast, not allowing the block of time on Stanford's side to form.
Beyondich back to serve for the Longhorns. Up 2-0 in the best of 5. Match number 1 of 2 here. Doubleheader on ESPN. Louisville and Illinois to follow from the KFC Yum Center in downtown Louisville. Vanderwall off hands, flying in to keep it alive was Harvey. Tough one at the net, and the battle is won by one of the Texas freshmen, Vanderwall.
Vanderwall's such a physical presence up there. She's 6'3" as an outside, which is really tall for that position. You can see this play out in her reach. She's able to just go up and grab the ball over Logan Parks. Parks is a pretty good blocker in her own right up front. Just a freshman coming in, but she's averaging almost 1 a set, which is really impressive.
That's going to go into the books as service error number 4 for Texas, putting Stanford in front 8-5. Elia Rubin back to serve for the Cardinal, senior from Santa Monica. Good serve, ace for Stanford.
Stanford continuing to bomb serves on the back line. We've seen them be very high error, but also it's pretty high reward because they're not allowing Texas to get in rhythm when they're passed.
4th ace for the Cardinal. 2nd for Rubin, who gets another.
Rubin's serve is so tough to pass because sometimes she drives the passers deep and then she'll drop it short right in front of them.
Timeout called by Texas. Stanford up by 5, needing to win here in set number 3. Freshman Kari Spears has been outstanding so far. 10 kills, all coming in the first 2 sets, looking for her first kill here of the third set. This is something she's been doing since the very start. She's been playing on the right side, so it's a new position for her just in the last 3 weeks, and she looks really comfortable. It's got to be something in the genes, right? Her proud dad is standing by with Michaela.
Hey, Marcus, so you're here at the Texas volleyball game. We are in the Moody Center. You are an NFL analyst for ESPN. You got your hands full. What do you think of this atmosphere and the state of women's volleyball, the opportunity your daughter had?
It's phenomenal. I mean, when she visited Texas, this was the atmosphere. It's not a fluke. They do this every time these girls play. The support was a big reason she chose Texas, and now I'm ingratiated. It's a little weird having a Longhorn on as a LSU Tiger, but it feels good.
Kari was telling me that you give a full-blown scouting report before every single game. You got your hands full with NFL, but how dialed in are you to volleyball?
I'm dialed in. The family comes first, and like she just missed that serve, but I always try to give her just confidence and remind her that this is a game she loves to play. Go out and play well, and then move your shots. Make sure you see the defense, and when the floor is open, try to break the floor.
I was going to say, she told me your biggest piece of advice was keep your feet moving. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes, you have to keep your feet moving. You see how fast this ball moving out here? If you stop your feet, you have lost. So she does a good job at it. But when she does it, she hears about it.
Last one for you. Is there anything that you can see watching Kari as dad that maybe no one else can?
Well, I always try to look at her demeanor and see if she's enjoying it and not too much within herself, promoting her teammates, leading when it's available, but also just being in tune. And I look at her demeanor more than just the playing. The playing is gonna happen. She can play volleyball, but I just want her to be ready mentally.
All right, well, thanks so much. Enjoy the game.
All right, thank you.
All right, Marcus has to get up to Chicago. Monday Night Countdown coming up tomorrow, the Bears and the Vikes. But family first move the feet, but also break the floor if you got an opportunity. That's a little bit of good advice from Dad, too, the former football player.
I absolutely love it, especially when you have former athletes of different sports that are just completely locked into a new one now, especially when you have such a stud freshman like Kari coming in as a #1 overall recruit, 2-time Texas Gatorade Player of the Year. A lot of pressure on her to come in, and she's lived up to the hype so far.
I love it, too, because in the middle of an interview, he didn't miss a play because she missed a serve. They're like, she missed a serve there. Oh, it's going to be in the text.
Dialed in.
Yes. 12-8, Stanford. Texas up 2-0 as Emma Halter goes back to serve here in the third. Parks with the assist, the kill by Sayer.
The luxury that Stanford has is that even though we saw Taylor Yu go down and get checked out by the medical staff, they have a freshman coming in Logan Parks that is no drop-off in terms of efficiency. She was actually the most efficient setter throughout preseason for Stanford, so they know that they can rely on number 24 in black out there.
Yeah, Yu is up and standing with her teammates, watching now as Parks serves, works on the court, and the serve is good for the Cardinal. E. Parker, who's put some pressure on there from the service line, has Stanford up by 6 here in the third. Goes short this time. Swindle, Bunton, point, Texas.
Really good play from Ramsey Gary, getting her body under that ball to pop it up so that Ella Swindle could set that slide attack. That all starts from a really good pass.
Swindle back to serve for the Longhorns, trying to improve to 4-0 on the season. Stanford comes in 3-1. That loss was to Nebraska in Lincoln. Spears tried to make something out of that, could not. The point goes to Stanford. Number 9 back to serve for the Cardinals, Spencer Etzler. That is off the mark. Point for Texas. Vanderwall comes back on for Texas. Stafford goes back to serve. 24 kills against Rice last time out. That was on Wednesday. 4-setter for Texas. They dropped set 1, hit 163, but ended up hitting 359 for the match. A little adversity never hurts early in the season, and they face some in Houston. Spears with the kill.
Spears has got a hammer for an arm and a beautiful out-of-system set from the libero, stepping in, taking it with her hands, leads Kari Spears inside, and she rips it right inside the block.
Move your feet, break the floor.
There you go.
Rubin gets a lot out of that one, looking for a touch, none called. Point Texas. Longhorns within 3, timeout Stanford. 3-0 run for the Longhorns. Nashville for the block party at Bridgestone Arena. That was a lot of fun, and we keep it going for a third straight weekend here in Austin. Spears denied at the net. That's going to drop in. Point Stanford out of the timeout.
Really high IQ play from outside Elia Rubin to take a swing on that and chop it right down the line. Especially on the second contact. You don't need someone to come and set it. Just go up and take a rip.
Spears has to bump it over. Rubin looks for Parks, who looks to the middle. Swindle sets it. Back row attack. Stafford hung in the air to get it over. Halter gets down on the court again. Spears set back. That's block number 1 for Stanford here today. It comes in set 3 and puts the Cardinal on top by 5.
There's that block starting to come alive. Kari Spears swinging high with it, but Rubin is all over it, taking away Spears' line shot.
Jordan Harvey grabs the tape. Swindle, Vanderwall, off hands, Etzler couldn't keep it in play. Point Texas.
As Stanford's defense has turned up their play a lot during this third set, Texas has been forced into more difficult situations, trying to swing higher on the block and getting a little bit craftier on their side.
Koyundic serves it to Etzler. Rubin couldn't get it over. Point Texas.
The timing just a little bit off between Elio Rubin and her setter, wanting a faster set there, so she's hanging in the air and is forced to go with the roll shot.
Stanford starting setter Taylor Yu had her ankle attended to. She's watching from the sidelines right now as Logan Parks, the freshman, handles setting duties. There you see Taylor. 24 assists and 5 digs for you today. Parks, uber talented freshman, has a big arm, working as a setter right now. Rubin, a little long on that one. Service error number 14 for the Cardinal.
This is a
point to Texas.
This is the point in the set where Stanford can't allow the door to be open and Texas comes through, because as physical of a team as the Longhorns are, they can come back from pretty much down anything, especially with 10,000 screaming fans behind them.
Rilla Binney will serve for the Longhorns. Parks, good offense there. Parks with a great set. Found the middle. Andrew with the kill.
Logan Parks stepping in has done a really nice job with this offense. We've seen one misconnect, but everything with the middles has looked really good so far through this third.
5 assists now for Logan Parks. 5th kill for Andrew on 15 swings. Kirsch serves it to Stafford. Vanderwall. Stanford now has 2 blocks on the match, both coming here in the set number 3.
Logan Parks being big up front, taking a step in to shut down that line of approach. Beautiful job.
Sayer and Parks get in the air to deny Texas and forcing a Texas timeout here in the third set. Stanford on top.
Business.
Coco Kirsch to serve, trying to keep the pressure on from the service line. She does. Halter after it. Aims over. Chance here for Stanford to extend their lead. Parks with the set off hands. Point Cardinal.
Great point for Stanford, digging in defensively, getting really good looks offensively to transition it.
Rubin with 11 kills, Kurt with 10 for the Cardinal. 3-0 run for Stanford. Good job by Kirsch with the serve. Setting the middle, and the kill.
Much better handle from Tori Stafford on the pass. Texas's passing has plummeted during this set because Stanford's putting so much pressure on them. Really good adjustment from Stafford. Get this ball right up at the top of the net. That allows the middle attack to run.
Hawaii with 3 kills now for the Longhorns. Here's Ramsey Gary back to serve with Texas down by 5. Halter sets it to Stafford. Parks to Kurtz. Stafford tries again. Good hustle play by Harvey, just couldn't keep it up. And Texas trying to get a little closer here in set 3.
Some finesse out of Stafford, putting it right over the block. Forcing Stanford into tough positions.
E-Park, Kurt's gonna go long.
Door cracked right back open for the Longhorns to push right through. This is where Stanford needs a reset, control their side of the court.
Stanford up by 3. 4 points away from continuing this match. Where will Parks go? Goes to the freshman. Freshman to freshman connection. Sayer. A couple of players down for Texas. They seem to be okay. Point Stanford.
Stanford is keeping pressure on Texas every way they can, whether it's from the service line that they've done such a good job of during set 3, or just forcing the defense to transition tough balls.
That's going to be a violation. She stepped on the line, so we've seen all sorts of service errors pile up, but that's a first. Foot was on the line from Parks, giving a point to Texas.
And Stanford's 15th service error of this match.
Emma Halter. It's Jordan Harvey with a critical point for Stanford.
I like this decision from Stanford to run the middle behind the setter and run the right side in front of the setter. That relies just one-on-one block that she's able to exploit.
Marquardt back to serve. She has 3 aces here today. That missed the mark, no touch, and it is set point for the Cardinal. Great serve. Stafford blocked. Out of play. Point Texas.
Got to bring Kari Spears back into the match. The heavy hitter right now for Texas, leading them in kills.
Swindle also rotates back in, and she'll go back to serve now for Texas.
Really good rotation that Texas wants to hold.
It's going to take a service run. The junior from Missouri. Set point number 2. Stanford looked for the line, but Sayer couldn't find it. Point Texas.
Texas chipping away at that lead.
Set point number 3 for Stanford. Rubin off hands, and Stanford takes the 3rd set. Big players step up on a big stage, and Elia Rubin does that for the Cardinal. 12 kills on the afternoon for Rubin. Stanford forces a 4th. 5-21. What was different in set number 3 for Stanford?
The difference for Stanford was their service pressure. They were able to put much more tempo behind the end line that forced Texas's passers to handle really tough balls. And those passing stats for Texas plummeted during that set because of it.
We saw signs of that service pressure in set number 2, which was a tight one, won by Texas 25-23. All Texas in set 1, winning 25-15. Set 4 of the best of 5 underway. And these 2 freshmen continue to try to connect. Logan Parks to Erica Sayer. Point Stanford.
Sayer has done a phenomenal job so far today. 9 kills already, hitting nearly 400. Doing so good behind the setter on these slide attacks.
Her career best 10 kills against Long Beach State. That one's going to float long, and it's a service error for Parks. Give the point to Texas.
Logan Parks, normally known for that really tough top spin serve, goes to a float serve.
Emma Halter back to serve for the Longhorns. Parks. Tough one, not much you can do with it. Easy point for Texas, 2-1.
That's a really good set for Parks if she's setting a middle attacker because it's faster, but when you have a right side coming in, it's a higher ball in the middle. We call that a 2-ball.
Good sinking serve handled by Stanford. Free ball here for Texas. Swindle sets the middle. Buck knows what to do with it. Point Longhorns, 3-1.
Texas backcourt is just so good. They're able to transition every play so well. Ramsey Gary takes this, puts it right on the money, which gets the middle going.
Great serve by Halter. Great reaction by Stanford to get it over. Spears loves that back row attack, but she just couldn't clear the net. And it's a point for Stanford.
Yeah, that set dying just a little bit too hard for Spears. She needs it a little bit higher with how high she can get up.
Curtin. Stafford with the rim. 11 kills now for Tori Stafford.
Stafford does really well in this set is fast tempo. That only happens if you get a good pass. Ramsey Gary again stepping in to provide Swindle a dime.
That's in. Rubin with the kill. That gives her a match-high 13.
Stanford getting sneaky again where they're attacking these balls from. This one left inside for Elia Rubin to rip cross court.
Spencer Ensler back to serve for the Cardinal. Parks, that's over. And put back by Texas. Point Longhorns.
Even though Stanford's got two blockers up on that, Texas's power just gets right through it.
Tori Stafford back to serve. Stafford hitting .323 today. Team I 12 kills. On the left side, Stanford can't handle it. Jumped in front of Harvey, and Texas on top by 3.
It's a perfect example of the serve working really well with the block. When you serve the right side of the court, a lot of times it takes out the right side in the middle. Texas knows it's going outside and shuts it down.
So an early timeout called by Stanford, down by 3 here in the 4th. Maddie Booker in the middle of things. Parks out of that timeout, feeds it to Rubin. Texas was ready at the net, and then off hands the point for Harvey.
Really good answer out of that timeout for Stanford, able to run that efficient offense, and Harvey getting going with that arm.
Jordan will head back to serve. Off the tape, it drops in for the ace. She'll take it. 7th ace for Stanford here today. High risk, high reward. 16 errors, but 7 aces compared to 3 aces for Texas. There's the risk without the reward. Point Texas.
Yeah, typically you want that 1-to-1 ratio. Right now, Stanford just over doubling up their errors to aces, but man, they are putting so much pressure on Texas. That's what got them back in this 3rd set.
Yundich back on to serve for Texas. Parks right at the net. Spears on the overpass. Got a lot on it. Off hands, point Texas. That's 12 kills for the freshman.
Anytime Texas has gone up and taken a big swing at things, the blockers for Stanford are just too far off the net. So almost every time it's gone off the block and out of bounds.
That gives Kari a new career high. Had hit 11 kills. Twice so far in her young career. Rubin, a little crafty play by the veteran to get the point.
Stanford has really sped up their offense as this match has gone on. Sometimes as an outside, that tempo and location might not quite be there, especially from a freshman setter. Rubin does such a good job adjusting to that.
Elia now with 14 kills to pace Stanford and to lead all players here in this match at Moody. Parks continues to work at the center position here for Stanford. Vanderwall, that one is a mile high and it comes down to Halter. Spears Good job by Stanford to stay in this point after a couple of big swings by Texas. Kurt, Parks, Lizzie Andrew, point Stanford.
Good defense on the Cardinals side allows that play to happen. Good off blocker coming right off of the net. Ipar Kurt getting a really nice up. That allows that middle to run.
Andrew with 6 kills on 16 swings. One of the longer points we've had in this match. We've had a lot of quick points, it feels like. Rubin back to serve, trying to tie things up here for Stanford, who are trying to even up this match, down 2-1. That looked pretty close. Kevin Ambley's not going to waste any time. Oh, they called it in. I saw the side judge signal one thing. Elliot Rubin knows that she connected with the ace.
That serve just fell off the table at the end.
Parks, Halter, whatever it takes to get it up. Parks hangs in the air. Halter sends it back. Vanderwall, that's going to be tight at the net. Oh, and a miscue by Texas. Stanford will take that gladly.
Yeah, that's just one you got to shake off on Texas's side. 2 players trying to be ultra aggressive on that overpass.
4-0 run right now for the Cardinal to go up 9-8. Remember, they were down 6-3 and took a timeout here in set 4. That missed the mark from Rubin, giving the point to Texas to tie it at 9.
A lot of service errors again piling up on Stanford's side. They want to serve aggressive, but when you're playing neck and neck with the #2 team in the country, you got to clean it up, especially later on in the set.
Kari Spears serves for Texas. Service error for the Longhorns. That's their 7th of the match. Coco Kirsch will come on to serve for the Cardinal. Stanford will be at Mizzou on Tuesday, a match you'll see right here on ESPN before they have their home opener against Utah State. The first 6 away from home. Then they have 5 straight at home before their ACC opener on September 27th against Virginia. That's going to come up short. Stanford's got the points. They're up 11-9 here in the 4th.
Stanford serve just putting Texas in tough situations, doing a really nice job hitting those seams well.
Kirsch trying to keep it going at the service line for the Cardinal. Vanderwell off the net. Parks blocked out of play. Point Stanford, and the Cardinal rolling right now, and Jared Elliott gets up on his feet and will take a timeout. Great response by Stanford after falling behind early here in the 4th set.
And going back to what Stanford did during set 3, which is keeping that pressure on Texas, whether it's from the service line, not allowing them to get comfortable, or offensively finding ways to just get them out of system and keep pressure on them.
Both these programs through the years, Jared Elliott, Kevin Ambley, and so many other programs from coast to coast, schedule really tough in September, showcase matches. You can see in Texas with the win against Creighton, the win against Wisconsin, taking on Stanford today. They will take on Louisville coming up on Wednesday in Fort Worth at the showdown at the net. Then Arizona State, top 10 program at Gregory Gym next Sunday, a match we'll have for you right here on ESPN.
I mean, 7 ranked matchups during non-conference play is absolutely insane, but this is what you get from Texas year in and year out. Jared Elliott knows that his teams need to be tested early on to, one, figure out where they're at, but also get acclimated to a really tough schedule, because once they get into SEC play, it's going to be just as tough.
He takes a timeout. What are some of the adjustments that the Longhorns need to make right now? Because the momentum's with Stanford at the moment.
I think the biggest thing right now is in serve receive. Emma Halter, the libero for Texas, really taking control and making sure that those seams are down pat of who's taking them, and also adjusting to when Stanford throws them in short and then pushes them deep.
Emily, you're exactly right. I listened into the Texas huddle, and block was a very big emphasis, but they also talked about their offense. They feel like they're not using all of their options. They feel like they're so much more versatile than this, and they need to give them some more looks and be a little bit more deceptive.
Well, they can get more deceptive by getting that good first touch. That's really the only way you can do it, if you can have all options with a good pass.
Stanford once again. Sayer from Parks for the point. 13-9 Cardinal.
And even with a really good first ball on Texas' side, Stanford's able to transition this. Erica Sayer has been so impressive so far today.
Swindle to Vanderwall. Once again, Stanford there defensively. They get the kill and the point for Jordan Harvey. Remember, Stanford has got this momentum going because they've got Logan Parks at center. It was Taylor Yu. She left with an apparent injury, but Parks has kept things going here for the Cardinal.
And so impressive to do as a freshman against a top 2 team, hitting 500 during this court set, needing a comeback, because if Texas wins this one, match is over.
Defense has been outstanding for Stanford, keeping them in points, and the offense working off the block, getting another point, and Stanford putting it on Texas right now here in the 4th set.
Throughout this long run for Stanford, we've seen multiple times from attackers on Stanford's side going right off the block of the Longhorns. Texas got to be more disciplined up there.
6-0 run right now for the Cardinal. Coco Kirsch. Vanderwall long, 7-0 run.
Texas still has that timeout, but man, Jared Elliott doesn't really want to burn it this early on in the set, but he's got to have someone step up on their side to put a ball down.
This set's getting away from Texas pretty quickly right now. Thanks in large part to the great work by Coco Kirsch. Remember, the service errors have piled up for Stanford, but she's gotten it into play, and the defense continues to stand tall for Stanford.
Everything's rolling right now for the Cardinal. That's the kind of fight that Kevin Hamley wants to see in this really young team up there, how they're able to bounce back against a really tough opponent in Texas who was up 2-0. There's that hit percentage by set. You see Stanford starting to get better and better as this match has gone on, hitting over 500. Meanwhile, Texas going down right now, hitting negative.
9 kills on 15 swings for Stanford this set, just 1 attack error. Vanderwall. Kirsch won't let the run end. Vanderwall, once again, it's Kirsch. Kirsch again. Bumped over. Halter gets there for Texas. Vanderwall on the swing. Great job by Stanford. They continue to stay in this point. Kirk with the rip. Off hands. Point Stanford.
Coco Kirsch, are you serious? She wants to keep herself serving back there as long as possible. 4 different digs during just that rally alone. Doing work in left back. Come on.
9-0 run for Kirsch and the Cardinal. Another good serve. To the middle, and that ends the run. Kawhi with the rip. But what a great job by Coco Kirsch as she rotates out. Everybody ready to give her high fives and hugs.
And coming in as a serve sub, you are asked to knock the opponent out of system, do whatever you can to hold that rally. And man, Coco Kirsch did a good job. Her bench loves it.
Here's Ramsey Gary. Service error right after the side out. So that gives the point to Stanford. And they are just 6 points away from forcing a 5th set here in Austin. Long, just long, point Texas.
18 service errors on Stanford's side, but 19 rather, but they don't care. They're okay with it.
Halter serves it to Etzler. Parks. Once again, Parks to Sayer. they keep going to it because Texas can't stop it.
Yeah, you got to run the middle, especially when you have Erica Sayer up there, until Texas finds an answer. That was the number one key Jared Elliott said coming into this match was they needed to shut down 22. Texas hasn't been able to do that. She's hitting 500 with 12 kills.
New career high for Sayer, 10 her previous career high. Texas will get the point to bring the Longhorns within 8. They are up 2-1. If Stanford wins this set, we will play a 5th and final set to 15.
What a bounce back for this young Stanford
100%.
team. A lot of players out there on the court new to the starting lineup this season, and what they've been able to do to bounce back in this kind of environment is crazy.
Get the feeling with the Stanford team, because Kevin Hambley said we're going to mix and match pieces, try different things, have the long view for this season, that this is going to be a program that's going to get better as the year goes along. They have gotten better as this match has gone along against second-ranked Texas here today.
Yeah, something sparked in them during the end of that second set. They pushed Texas right up to the brink in a 25-23 set, and they felt momentum headed into the next one with that. And we were tied at 9-9 in this set, which just tells you how confident they are going back there, hitting their serves.
I bet, too, afterwards, they'll give some credit to Elia Rubin. Michaela talked about how she was the one being vocal in the huddle, trying to get the team fired up, leading vocally and leading by example with that play.
Every team needs a spark plug. For Stanford, that's Elia Rubin. Not only does her play speak for itself, but man, she gets hype out there.
Texas is a timeout remaining, but it looks like maybe they'll just get to the finish line here of set number 4 unless something changes. That's going to be off the mark, and Stanford 2 points away from forcing a 5th set. If you are tuning in for Louisville and Illinois, that's going to start in just a few moments over on ESPN2. When we're done here in Austin, we'll get everybody there, and Texas will now use that final timeout here. But if you're looking for the cards and the Illini, that will be on ESPN2 until we're done here, and then we'll switch you over to ESPN for everybody. But we still have a lot to be determined here as the Cardinal here on the road, as we talked about earlier, playing away from home quite a bit. They've already knocked off a good Florida squad. They ran into that Nebraska buzzsaw in Lincoln. We were there for that, and that atmosphere was amazing. And Stanford showed their youth in that match, and Nebraska showed they were a pretty finished product in that match.
It's been really impressive to watch Stanford throughout these few matches. We've seen them kind of peaks and kind of valleys so far. But that's what you get when you have such a young squad out there. There were 7 newcomers out on the court for Stanford, and we're seeing a lot of really young faces in really pivotal roles. Right now, you have Logan Parks, a freshman setter, and Erica Sayer, a freshman middle blocker, and Spencer Etzler, a freshman libero. So many names on the court that are new to this Stanford program. And man, Kevin Hambley has done a phenomenal job getting them to gel early on. And even through this match, whether they win this one or not, they have gotten so much better being tested by a top 2 team in the country.
You knew it would take some time when you lose Cammie Minor, a 3-time Conference Center of the Year, and 3rd on Stanford's all-time assist list. Elena Ogilvie, Michaela talked about her before, 2-time honorable mention All-American. Sammy Francis in the middle, who played a lot of volleyball at a high level for the Cardinal. This Stanford team has grown up pretty quickly here on the road after a very slow start. Hit just 147 in set 1 against Texas, lost 25-15, but was much improved in set 2, turned the corner in set 3, and it's been all Cardinal here in set 4. Etzler to serve, 2 points away from forcing a 5th set. Free ball here for the Cardinal. Parks to the middle, little miss hit by Andrew on the reset. Harvey. Swindle, Stafford. Left side, Rubin. On the block. Remember, Stanford was without a block in the first 2 sets, but they're making up for lost time now. Set point Cardinal.
Their 3rd of just this set alone. They are putting all kinds of pressure on Texas. You could tell these attackers for the Longhorns getting tentative.
Etzler serving for the set. Stafford keeps Texas alive for the moment.
Look for Texas to rely on a player like Tori Stafford, just a junior in this program and a transfer, new face for the Longhorns, but she has done it year after year for Pitt coming in. She knows how to play at a high level when it matters.
Remember, Texas got off to that good start here in the fourth set, 6-3, forced an early Stanford timeout. Cardinal regrouped. Set point number 2. Halter got a hand on it, but it's out of play, and we will play 5 here in Austin. What a response by the Cardinal. They take set 4, 25-13. They are looking for a reverse sweep here at Moody. Back for the 5th set when we come back. Starts Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern, SEC Network. 5th sets coming up between Texas and Stanford. These two programs have had a lot of memorable matches through the years. First ever volleyball match played here at the Moody Center. We'll go to a 5th set. Texas is reeling a little bit. Michaela, what's the messaging in that Texas huddle?
Well, Jarrett Elliott got a copy of the stat sheet, and I could see him shaking his head. He was not happy with the numbers on that one. But guys, after listening to the players take over, I am fired up just listening to it. It was actually Aiden Ames and Tori Stafford who took over, just firing up their teams. Aiden Ames said, guys, let's be where our feet are. If we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging. And then I witnessed a pretty cute moment between the two freshmen, Kari Spears and Abby Vanderwall. They held each other's hands, shook it, and said, hey, we've got this.
This is exactly the moments that you want to see some of your younger freshmen and players like Kari Spears and Abby Vanderwall. How do they handle these kind of moments? And they're exactly right. They have to go down swinging. This is not the time for Texas's offense to get tentative after they were already up 2-0.
So when Jared Elliott looks at the stat sheet, what are some of the things you think he's shaking his head at?
Well, they hit negative 062 during set 4.
Number
That's
one.
a number that was absolutely not great, but also defensively, they allowed Stanford to hit 500 against them during that set. The defense for Texas has to lock in. That starts up at the front with their block.
Stanford hitting, as Emily mentioned, 500 in the 4th set. That brings them up to 305 for the match. Texas, after the hot start, where they hit 367 in set 1, 444 in set 2. They're down to 241 for the match. All the momentum is with Stanford, but things can go pretty quickly here in this 5th set. You play to 15 points, you have to win by 2. So the momentum can change really fast. Well, right now, Kevin Hambly's team in control. Will it carry over to a 5th set?
With 10,000 Longhorn fans in attendance, if Texas gets on any streak, it's going to be difficult for Stanford to come by. They need to start off fast, play a first game to 5.
Sellout crowd, over 10,000 here. First ever volleyball match at the 3-year-old Moody Center at the University of Texas. 5th set is underway. Swindle to Stafford. They'll try again. Once again, Stanford getting their hands on just about every attack. And the kill by Kirk. First point goes to the Cardinal.
The biggest offensive adjustment Stanford has made is getting those left sides going with a lot more tempo. It's a faster set out there. That hasn't allowed Texas's block to close, and they've been really successful with Kurt and Rubin.
Halter. Spears calls for it, bumps it close to the net, and Texas watches it fall. 2-0 Cardinal.
This is that same rotation with Coco Kirsch, who went on a 9-point run during set 4. This is a rotation Texas has got to get out of fast.
You saw how her teammates welcomed her back to the sideline. She goes on another run here. The celebration will multiply. Another good serve by Kirsch. Swindle. Crafty play by the setter, getting the kill, 2-1.
Even though Ella Swindle is 6'3", she's not overly offensive as a threat up front. Really smart decision to establish herself as a threat, because that'll hold the blocker just a little bit longer the next time that ball is tight to the net.
Halter. Parks had to send it over, went off the hands, and it's a point for Stanford. Everything coming up Cardinal right now.
Sometimes you see the other side setter get a little bit jumpy up there, and you want a taste of your own. Logan Parks, she's got a heavy arm, normally also a right side for this team, goes up and takes a big swing.
Now the big swing from the service line, service error, Stanford 3-2.
Even though we're here in a fifth set, Stanford has had 21 service errors on the night so far, but they have been bringing it, not allowing Texas to stay in rhythm.
Swindle back to serve for the Longhorns. Kurt. Parks goes to Ipar Kurt. Swindle for Spears, the block there again for Stanford. Again, the Cardinal did not have a block in the first 2 sets, but that defense has really dialed it up at the net since then.
Defense has been fantastic from the 3rd set on, and a big read from Ipar Kurt up there to shut down a big attacker in Kari Spears.
Kurt's been good with the serve. Here she is for the Cardinal. Gary. Great job by Gary to get it to Stafford in a good spot. Rubin sent back and out of play. Point Cardinal.
Expect a player like Elia Rubin, a 2-time All-American for Stanford, to get a lot of sets during this 5th set. In big matches, this is where Elia Rubin comes alive.
The All-American stepping up on the big stage again. 17 kills, hitting .333. Kurt got it up. Park sends it back to Rubin. Rubin, that's out of play. Point Texas.
Texas has got to figure out how to score their own points. They cannot rely on Stanford errors right now to get it done. They need to put more pressure on the Cardinal.
Tori Stafford to serve for Texas. Great job by Halter. Vanderwall into the net, point Cardinal.
If your defense is going to work that hard to keep the ball, if the offense has to make sure they're getting a good swing on it. Emma Halter, number 2 for Texas, a libero, sitting on that one to get it up. Beautiful ball. Tough opportunity offensively. That's a ball that's got to go over.
Spencer Etzler serves it to Stafford. Swindle. Spears. Kill Texas.
Kari Spears, her 13th kill just as a freshman. She was really good through the first 2 sets, but got a little quiet through the next 2. Look for Texas to really get her going on that right side right now.
Parks to the middle, off hands, point Cardinal.
Texas has had difficulty defending Stanford's middles, although they're just a sophomore and a freshman, really elite, efficient attackers.
Logan Parks up to 24 assists now, matching the total for Taylor Yu. Off the tape, drops in, ace Stanford. We've seen that a couple of times from Jordan Harvey. Stanford to 8 points. The teams will switch sides with the Cardinal on top by 4 here in the 5th.
More service pressure on Stanford's side. Their 9th ace of this match. They are letting it rip back there, and it's paying off as Texas has been out of system and all sorts of stuff are falling. Really beautiful serve from Harvey, targeting the top of the tape and just falls right over. So frustrating as a passer.
Crowd trying to get the energy up. And Texas will take a timeout on the changeover. That will leave them with 1 timeout. Down 8-4. Again, we played a 15 here in this 5th set. And a reminder, we'll get you to the KFC Young Center when we're done here in Austin for Louisville and Illinois. That match right now on ESPN2. You see Emma Halter taking charge in one huddle. A couple of player-directed huddles until the coaches get in. Texas, the number 2 team in the country. Stanford knocked off then number 2 Louisville a couple years ago. And again, you'll see the cards coming up when we're done here in Austin. Texas dominated set 1. won by 10. Stanford much improved in set 2, but lost 25-23. But then the momentum built up for Stanford after that. They hit 312 in the third set, won 25-21. They hit 500 in the fourth set to win 25-13. They're hitting 375 here in the fifth set, and as a result, they're up 8-4 with the serve out of the Texas timeout.
Texas has got to find some firepower. Setter Ella Swindle laying into the team during that timeout. Teams have looked a little lackadaisical since after the second set. They have to find another gear on the longboard side if they want to come back.
Swindle going to her teammates Spears and Ames as they step on the court, trying to pump them up. Jordan Harvey to serve. Another ace.
Texas has been bringing it from the end line, and it's been all around. It hasn't just been one person contributing back there. Awesome job from Jordan Harvey, continuing that service pressure. Look for her to go right back to the same spot.
Goes long, service error, but again, we talked about it earlier. Hambly has talked about in the past, we're going to be a high error team because we have to have that service pressure on, and really, you talked about it as well. That's how they got back into this match, by just making it tough on Texas as that second set went along, and then into the third and fourth set.
Tough serving is exactly what Stanford is known for. They will continuously keep pressure on the opponents, even if that means they're missing a few too many.
Binney, serve handled by the Cardinal. Rubin. Halter with the set. Rubin rolls it. Stafford. Parks goes back. This combination has worked well with Parks working with her middles. This time, Lizzie Andrew with the kill. And Stanford up 10-5.
Stanford's defense has gotten so much better as this match has gone on. Awesome up in the backcourt from Anna Pringle. Allows the setter to be in a great position to get Andrew going on the slide behind the setter.
Elia Rubin to serve. Tied at the net for Vanderwall to do anything with it. Kurt. And that's going to be out of play, and a point for Texas.
That's a play you just got to forget on Stanford's side. Not the cleanest ball coming off of Andrew, but here's where that pass is important. Forget the next play. Keep moving.
Ramsey Gary will serve for the Longhorns. Down by 4 here in the fifth. Kept up by Stanford. Again, the defense coming through for the Cardinal. No stopping that swing, though. Point Texas.
Texas is going to rely on Tori Stafford in this kind of moment. As they were down 5 points earlier in the set, look for them to go to their two-time All-American outside.
Kevin Hambly looked to his freshman, Logan Parks, asking if she touched it, and she said yes, so no challenge from Hambly. Here is Gary. This time to Kurt. Great job. This is what Texas has done well this season, keeping it alive, turning it into offense.
Ramsey Gary fueling this team, getting a spark from the backcourt, lays out a hand for it. Awesome up from Emma Halter as well, and that front court finishes it off. That's what defense gets you, more opportunities to showcase that big offense. Good up from Ramsey Gary, the DS.
Sitting next to one of those who would be called a little. And the littles have come up big for Texas in the early going this season. And we just saw it at that moment, forcing a Stanford timeout. And now the crowd, they were on their heels a little bit, much like the team was. But they're back into it. Texas down by 2, McKella.
Guys, I hear you talking about Ramsey Gary. That was a fantastic up, but it just reminded me of what Jared Elliott said. She is by far the most competitive player on this team. Tori Stafford was saying it too. She said it's an honor to pass beside her in the backcourt. We are seeing that, and she is firing up her team right now. It is exactly what they needed in this crucial moment.
massive for your liberos, your littles, your bros in the backcourt to fuel the offense because you don't normally score points as a libero. The only way you can do it is on your serve. So how can you affect play? Can you keep your offense in rhythm? Can you just do whatever it takes to keep the ball off the floor? That's the grit that you see from Ramsey Gary in every day in practice, and now getting to showcase this on one of the biggest stages that she has ever played in.
I mentioned Ramsey Gary spending the previous 2 seasons at Indiana as their libero, making a big play for Texas, trying to keep it going with the serve out of the Stanford timeout. Free ball here for the Longhorns, although Halter will have to set it. Stafford!
This is where Tori Stafford takes over a match. When her team is down, she knows they need a big swing. What I love about this is she is never going to be afraid to take a big rip at it. You're not going to see tips from her.
16 kills for Tori Stafford. Went for a career-high 24 last time out in the 4-setter against Rice. The block is there. The match is tied in the 5th. Two sets apiece, 10-10 in the 5th. Kurt again at the net, kept up. Ramsey Gary, point Texas.
Ramsey Gary doing everything right now for Texas, throwing arms left and right to keep it alive, and every time it has been Tori Stafford that's putting it down. She might not be in the libero jersey, but man, she is playing so well back there, number 32. All credit to her for this run because she's doing whatever it takes right now to keep the Longhorns alive.
I'd say the first ever volleyball match at the Moody Center has been a loud success, Emily.
You could say that. I think everyone can't hear anymore in here. It's been awesome.
6-0 run right now for the Longhorns. They were down 10-5 here in the 5th. Once again, kept up only for the moment. Gary got a piece of it, but couldn't keep it in the air. And that ends the run, and we're tied at 11.
It's going to be so important now for both Stanford and Texas to cool out their emotions a little bit. Focus on this next pass. Get this serve in. Sometimes in a 5th set, when the adrenaline is flying, that's when you see errors. Can't have that at this point in the set.
Coco Kirsch, she's been good on the service line for Stanford. Serves it to Halter. Halter kept it up. Ames pulls it off the net. Marks got a hand on it. Scramble on each side of the net. Off hands, point Texas, Kahaway.
Devin Kahawai coming in off the bench and taking some of the biggest swings of the year for Texas right now, going for it, going after that high hands. That's exactly what you want from someone coming off the bench, being a game changer.
Fifth kill. Rory Harmon loves it. Kurt off hands, point Stanford, tied again.
Huge answer on Stanford's side. It has been pin heavy on both sides of the court right now. Expect the left sides for Stanford to continue to get a lot of sets. And Elia Rubin, the go-to attacker for the Cardinal in the backcourt right now.
Logan Tusher, sophomore, will come on to serve here for Stanford. Big spot for her, comes up with a good serve. Stafford, that's out. Point Cardinal. Texas will use the timeout. Logan had appeared in 1 set in the first 4 matches this year for Stanford. Comes on to serve late in the 5th set.
That shows how much confidence Kevin Hamley has in his sophomore setter coming in to go back there in this kind of moment and hit a really tough serve.
13-12 Stanford. They led 10-5. It was a 6-0 Texas run to put the Longhorns up 11-10. Stanford has battled back. 3 ties, 2 lead changes here in this 5th set. We played a 15, win by 2.
Logan Tusher also coming in to set for them. So not only is she having serving duties, but she's coming in with hands as well. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a player that we haven't seen much from in the season.
Sophomore from Tiburon, California. Out of the Texas timeout. She'll be back to serve. By the way, no one has left. They may have squeezed in a couple of hundred more since this match began, if that's possible.
Certainly sounds like it.
Good serve. Binney serves it to Stafford.
Stafford's that go-to for Texas. They will rely on her in these big moments. Even on a perfect pass, you know the ball's going to their 2-time All-American who's trying to put a hole in the floor.
18 kills to lead all players. Swindle is on, she serves. Kurt missed the mark. Stanford insisting there's a touch, and Kevin Hamley. Well, now they're saying it was a touch, so now it's going to be up to Jarrett Elliott to challenge. So right now on the court, point Stanford. Initial indication I saw was no touch, but apparently a touch was called, and now Jarrett Elliott is going to challenge. For the moment, it is match point Stanford, but if this is a successful challenge, it'll be match point Texas.
Texas is challenging that there was no block touch.
Typically, you don't challenge that if your player did touch it. Your player would turn to coach right there and say, I absolutely did not touch that ball. Here's a better look at it. Based on this initial look, it looks as though it goes right through the hands in the seam.
Will we get conclusive looks?
After review, the call is confirmed. There was a block touch by Texas number 55. Stanford retains the point. Texas loses their challenge.
There's that middle finger of Nia Button just coming right off. Good precision from Ipar Kurt.
Match points, Stanford. Ipar Kurt to serve. Stepped on the line. Violation by Kurt. Point Texas. We've seen that twice from a Cardinal player here today. Tori Stafford ready to serve. A reminder, you need to win by 2. Good serve by Stafford. Parks goes up high for Rubin with the touch by Halter. Match point number 2 for Stanford.
Big swing from Elia Rubin in a massive moment. She is not pulling back the string. She is going headhunting up there.
Freshman Spencer Etzler serving for the match. Swindle. Chance here for Stanford. Rubin kept up by Stafford. Vanderwall. Rubin again. Swindle tied at the net. Fought off by Stanford. Parks to the senior Rubin. Swindle, quick set, off hands. Point, Texas. They fight off a second match point.
The defense to keep these plays alive. Halter knows she has to push this up at the net. Risky set from Ella Swindle to get that ball to the middle, but it pays off.
So Stanford will challenge here. I think they may be looking for a net violation. Let's get the official call from Brianna Spain.
Stanford is challenging that there was a net fault at the end of the play.
Okay, so very clear saying end of the play that there was a Texas player perhaps in the net. We have a lot of replay assistants ready to let our R2 know what's happening here. Does Texas hit the net here on the follow-through? I see nothing there.
This is coming down off of a block. Based on that, looks clean.
Well, there's a little wiggle of the net, though. Was it perhaps before? See the net bouncing just a little bit? Would it be something before there, maybe? That's what they're looking at right now. And it's pretty quick review, so I think this is going to hold.
After review, the call is confirmed. There was no net fault. Texas retains the point. Stanford loses their challenge.
Ujendich back to serve for Texas. We're tied again, 15-all here in set 5. Everyone on their feet here at the Moody Center. Parks goes to Rubin. Parks, right side, up on Stafford. It'll be match point number 3 for the Cardinal.
Big swing from Jordan Harvey in a massive moment to send her back to the end line. This is one of Stanford's best servers. She bombs balls back there. Texas's serve receive has to lock right in here.
Harvey does have 3 aces here today, serving for the match. Swindle hustles for it. Vanderwall off the net. Rubin for the win. Went over with the soft roll. Spears, no doubt. Tied again.
The difference there was that Stanford got tentative and Texas kept swinging, and that's a freshman in that kind of moment. You know Dad Marcus Spears loves to see that from her. That's what you want to see from a young player in this kind of moment. How hard can you swing fending off set point, match point?
Take a big swing. Go down swinging with your best. Spears now with 14 kills. Here's Binney. That's a miss hit by Andrew, and it is match point Texas. Rubin, it's off the mark. Texas fights off 3 match points, and they win at Moody.
What fight that we saw from both programs here today. Texas goes up 2-0 on a really tough Stanford team and then fends off the reverse sweep, not allowing Stanford to win the next 3. But we saw both teams get better throughout that match, which for 2 young programs is insane. And this kind of barn burner, I'm exhausted.
A sellout crowd of over 10,000 packed the Moody Center for the first time for volleyball, and they do not leave disappointed, those in burnt orange. Texas wins a thriller in 5. For McKella Chester, Emily Eman, and our crew, I'm Eric Freed. So long from Texas on to the Bill.